right, we should be live.
Okay. Give it a few more seconds. 7 p.m. Wait for.
When you have director of finance on here, we don't even have one of those. Are we gonna have just an assistant business?
The title would be director of finance. We've got
That would be that,
director of building and grounds, director of food service, director of
So the
technology.
director of finance is going to be the gal from.
That's going to be Nicole.
Nicole, right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I call the January 6th reorganizational meeting of Bold ISD number 2534 to order here at 7 o'clock p.m. We have all board members except member Rederath present, so he is absent. Would everyone please stand to recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yep. It's not going to hit us in the head anymore.
No. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved, actually, Greg, I can't have you make a
Goodness.
motion
Oh.
at this point.
Yeah,
I'll-
I wasn't even
So-
thinking about that.
I'll take it.
Member Benson will approve the agenda and member Osseth will second. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Any
That
discussion?
date change, you're gonna make
Yeah,
that Monday,
it
okay.
should state Monday, January 6, 2025 at the top, not Wednesday. That's the change made. So with that day change listed in the header. Any other discussion on the agenda? Any other discussion on the agenda? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving the agenda as published with the day changed in the header to Monday from Wednesday. All members in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries and the agenda is approved. I'd like to recognize and thank all those attending online. We don't have any visitors in person for your participation tonight. And with that, we'll move on to section 5, and that is our welcome, acceptance of office, and oath of office of our elected board members, Brad Osseth, Mariella Klaus, Greg Peppel, and Todd Sheehan. So I'll ask you to publicly affirm your acceptance of office. So when the blank, you simply state your name, and I'll have you all recite at the same time. So if you want to start with the acceptance of office, please.
I, Brad Osseth, hereby accept the office of School Board Member of Independent School District Number 2534 for a term beginning January 6, 2025
and
expiring the first Monday in January 2029.
Okay, would you please recite the oath of office? Same thing, insert your own name in the blank.
And you can either swear or affirm.
Yep, say one
You
or
don't have
the
to
other.
do the both. Yep.
I, Brad Osseth, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of School Board Member of Independent School District Number 2534 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Okay, so congratulations and thank you for your previous participation, and I look forward to working with you on the board these next few years, so thank you. Let's move on to section 6, and that is our election of school board officers. So by state statute, we need to have a chair, a clerk, and a treasurer. We also do a vice chair designate as well up front. And we have last year's officers listed at the end of the term. And so we will go through and do nominations for each office and then vote on each office individually. So we'll do chair first. Is there a nomination for chair?
I'll nominate Todd Frank.
Okay, I accept. Is there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing no more nominations, the chair would entertain a motion to have nominations cease and cast a unanimous ballot for Todd Frank, the one nominated individual.
I'll make that motion.
So,
Second.
Member Oseth has moved, and member Klaus has seconded the motion to have nominations cease and a unanimous ballot for chair be cast for Todd Frank. There isn't any discussion on that. I guess those that are nominated would each have an opportunity to say something. I do welcome the chance to be chair again for the board, and I will accept those duties, so. Okay, with that, we'll proceed to vote. All members in favor of the motion that nominations cease and the unanimous ballot is cast for Todd Frank as chairperson for the 2025 calendar year, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, motion carries. Todd Frank is chair again. Okay. If I wasn't, this is where you would switch, and whoever was chair would come in and run the meeting at this point. So, but since I am, we don't do that, so. Okay.
Stay seated.
Yep. Is there a nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Brad Oseth.
Okay, is there any other nominations for vice chair? Brad, do you accept the nomination?
Sure,
Okay.
as long as you're here at the meetings.
Well,
That doesn't always have it.
are there any other nominations for vice chair? Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations? Okay, I'll do the same then. I'll entertain a motion that nominations cease and a unanimous ballot be cast for Brad Oseth for vice chair. Is there someone willing to make that motion?
I will make the motion.
Member Sheehan?
I'll second.
It was you, Sandy?
Yep.
Okay, so it's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Benson that nominations cease and a unanimous ballot be cast for Brad Oseth for the vice chair position. Brad, you want to say anything?
No, I'll accept the position and try to do my best if we got to that point.
Okay. Okay, with that, then I'll ask for a vote. All members in favor of accepting Brad Oseth as vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries and Brad Oseth is our vice chair. Okay. All right, so we now have the position of clerk. Are there any nominations for clerk?
I'd like to nominate Greg Pepple.
Are there any other nominations for clerk? Any other nominations for clerk? Any other nominations? Okay, hearing no more nominations, I'll again entertain a motion that nominations cease and a unanimous ballot be cast for Greg Pepple for clerk.
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Oseth that nominations cease and a unanimous ballot be cast for Greg Pepple for clerk. Greg, did you want to say anything?
I'm open to it, so that's fine.
Okay, any, okay, with that, we'll just proceed to vote. All in favor of the motion that nominations cease and Greg Pepple be named clerk, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries, and Greg Peppel is our clerk for the 2025 year. Okay. Last office, that would be treasurer. Is there a nomination for treasurer?
I nominate Sandy Benson.
Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Any other nominations for treasurer? Any other nominations for treasurer? Okay, we have no more nominations. With that, I will entertain a motion to, that nominations cease and a unanimous ballot be cast for Sandy Benson to serve as treasurer for all of 2025. Is there someone to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Peppel that nominations cease and a unanimous ballot be cast for Sandy. Sandy, do you have anything?
I will absolutely take this on again.
I think you
I
do
enjoy it.
a wonderful job with
I
great
as
enjoy
treasurer.
it.
So,
Not that I really do that much.
okay. So with that, we have a motion on the table to have nominations cease for treasurer and a unanimous ballot be cast for Sandy Benson for 2025 as the school board officer. All members in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries, and Sandy Benson is our treasurer for 2025. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to section 7. That's our consent items, and we need a motion to approve one, our the adopt electronic funds resolution, and whoever makes the motion, I will put your name in on this, and the second would go in on that as well.
So moved, Peppel.
Okay,
I'll second that.
so it's been moved by member Peppel and seconded by member Klaus to adopt the electronic fund transfers resolution, which is enclosure 1, and then approve our minutes of the December 16th, 2024 regular school board meeting. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion on the consent items? Okay. Hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on the consent items. And all members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, with that, I am going to now read the resolution itself, because we do need to have that read and do a voice vote on it. So, a resolution delegating authority to make electronic fund transfers to a designated business administrator. And this is enclosure 1 in the packet and online. Whereas Minnesota statute section 471.38 claims authorize school districts to use electronic transfers of checks, drafts, or similar negotiable instruments. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The school board hereby delegates the authority of the following school business administrators to make electronic fund transfers for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. Nicole Veith, SWWC Business Services Specialist, dated today, January 6, 2025, and James Menton, Superintendent of Bold Schools, dated today, January 6, 2025. It is hereby certified that the Bird Island Olivia Lake William Public School ISD number 2534 duly adopted this resolution at a duly convened meeting held on January 6, 2025. Member Klaus seconded the motion to approve the resolution, and upon a vote being taken therein, the following voted in favor. Member Osseth.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Peppel.
Aye.
Member Benson.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And Member Frank is an aye as well. And the following voted in opposition, none, and the following was absent. That would be Member Rederath. And this resolution was declared adopted. Okay, so that takes care of the consent items. Okay, we are now on to our superintendent report, section 8.
All right, just a reminder of our workshops coming up on the 15th. And that's for Brad. He's doing the phase 1, and I think you're going to be doing the phase 3. And then the rest of us will be going up on Wednesday evening through Friday. So looking forward to that. I think I emailed everybody. We'll get together for dinner, and it's always been a fun time. So.
As far as the workshops, does everybody go to a separate workshop, and how do we know, or do we just pick things and go?
Most people pick things that they
Just pick.
Pick things that interest you.
yeah.
Just go through, yeah.
Okay.
And the roundtables are very interesting. The roundtable session,
Okay.
those are very interesting. They're fun to go to. We learn a lot.
Sometimes you'll go by yourself, sometimes
Yeah,
one of
somebody
us, or maybe 2 of you, 3 of you might be in the room listening or participating.
I think Greg's picture is even either on the website or in one of the
From last year?
at one of the roundtables. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I didn't realize that.
closing keynote speaker, Greg.
Oh yeah.
Just
I
kidding.
noticed it someplace. So
Okay, I didn't
I was a
look
little
through it.
disappointed though, but there, usually you have like at least 2 to 3 pages of roundtables, and there's not as many this year.
Okay.
I was kind of,
Yeah, there's usually, there was a lot of them
yeah.
last year.
No, this year there's hardly, to me, I don't think there was a lot, like there normally is.
If you all didn't notice, there is an app,
Uh-huh.
and it is really nice. I went and registered and signed up, and downloaded it yesterday. So. Jim, anything else on your report?
that's all I have for today.
Okay, so we will move then on to section 9, and the first item of new business is to set our school board meeting dates, time and location for the 2025 calendar year. And so the motion would be to set the 4th Monday of each month at 7:00 p.m., except for May 2025, which will be held on the 3rd Monday, May 19th, 2025. All board meetings will be held in the Media Center in Olivia unless otherwise posted. In case of inclement weather, the meeting will be held the following day at the same location and time. Is there a motion for that?
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Klaus to set the 4th Monday of each month at 7:00 p.m. except for May 2025, which will be held on the 3rd Monday, May 19th, 2025. All board meetings will be held in the Media Center in Olivia unless otherwise posted. In case of inclement weather, the meeting will be held the following day at the same location and time. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All members in favor of setting the school board meeting dates is on the agenda for the calendar year 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and the meeting dates are set. All right. Second is to designate legal counsel for the district as Squires, Waldsperger, and Mace, PA, and designate the chairperson and superintendent as authorized contacts. That requires action. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
So it's been moved by member Osseth and seconded by member Peppel to designate legal counsel for the district as Squires, Waldsperger, and Mace, PA, and designate the chairperson and superintendent as authorized contacts. Is there any discussion?
I just have a question there. Most generally, any of us can call them. Any of us should be able to call them.
No,
The
it's
As
lawyers?
a school board member, we should be able to call. Cause,
it's designed so that if you all have the same question, you should run it through either me or through Todd, because if everybody were to call in, we would have a big bill for everyone asking the same question.
Yes.
cause it used to be where any board member was allowed to call the lawyer for questions.
And last year we
Yeah,
said
it
it
was
this
like
way.
this last year too, I know.
Yep. And the other reason is if an example, say member Klaus calls about something,
Yeah.
and then I call, and
We're charged
we're charged double, but legally, maybe she's, the legal is giving Mariella one set of advice,
Yeah.
giving me a separate set, and so that's a conflict, so that way you don't put the board in a predicament with the legal advice on getting conflicting information. So that's another reason to set direct contacts ahead of time.
Okay.
You can always contact Terry Morrow, with the School Board Association.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I've done that numerous times, he's very good.
Yeah, he's
Very
good.
good. But, okay, well,
No, it's a good question, Sandy.
cause I know there used to be where, and I get that, I get where too many people are asking questions or whatever and it costs too much, but I know it used to be that any board member had the right to call our lawyers, cause that's what they're there for, is for us and to give us information on their side also. But, I mean, I guess if it's limited, which I get it. I mean, that must be something that's just, I mean, I know it changed last year too, I noticed that last year.
And also note, this is recommended by MSBA to go this route
Okay,
as well.
I don't think, Sandy, it doesn't say anything that you couldn't be present or be part of the conversation with
Right.
the chair or.
Correct,
Oh,
Right.
definitely, yeah.
So
correct.
it'd just be, they would initiate the contact.
oh, absolutely, I'm fine with, I mean, it's not like I just, it caught my eye last year and it was too late, now I just wanna bring it up again, it's like, okay, like, we've done this a couple times, what's the reasoning, and I get it, I get your reasoning, so, I'm good.
Okay, any other discussion or questions on item 2 on designating our legal counsel? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on designating legal counsel for the district of Squires, Waldsburger, and Mace, PA, and designate the chairperson and superintendent as authorized contacts. All members in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and we've designated our legal counsel for the district of Squires, Waldsburger, and Mace, PA, and we've designated the chairperson and superintendent as authorized contacts. Okay, on to 3.
Like a emergency, the worst thing.
Okay. Just letting, for the recording, member Rudderath is here now as we're starting item 3 under new business, which is to establish board compensation for attending board meetings. So we will need a motion for that, and for January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, the rate will be $100 per board member per regular and special board meetings, and $100 for a half day, and $200 for full day negotiation meetings, and $200 for all day seminars. And a note that compensation will not be paid for meet and confer meetings, policy review meetings, interviews, etc. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
So it's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Asseth. That we set the compensation for January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025 at $100 per board member per regular and special board meetings, and $100 for half-day, and $200 for full-day negotiations, and then $200 for all-day seminars, where compensation will not be paid for meet and confer meetings, policy review meetings, interviews, etc. Any discussion? Any discussion? For those that are new to the board, I'll just give a quick history. Prior to a year ago, the rates, I believe, were $50 per meeting, so we increased them last year because they hadn't been touched for maybe 10 years
Like a
prior.
decade,
Well,
yeah.
It was a long time.
And so, there's no change from what we approved last year at the meeting to this, so, to put it in context for everybody. and this is in line with what other districts in neighboring us are doing approximately. Some of the districts, others will give the chair additional or a higher compensation rate, but we don't do that. So, any other discussion?
I would add, I guess, that last year I was kind of thinking I'd hear like people griping that that you gave yourselves raises, but not a single person said anything negative. And I had a few people indicate that they were shocked how little you are compensated for what you do. So,
There is time involved in preparing for
Oh,
a board meeting.
absolutely.
Yep.
A lot of the behind the scenes stuff, people don't see outside of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
They see it on camera only what happens here, but there's a lot behind that you kinda look into and
Yep.
check.
Fielding calls or emails,
Yeah,
and, you know, and researching. Yep.
research is a lot of them.
So, okay, so the motion's on the table to approve the rates as published on the agenda. Any more discussion? Any more discussion?
I guess my question is, you mentioned that some other school districts, the chair does wind up getting compensated a little bit more. And I guess that's one thing I've seen this last year, the amount of time you've put in, Todd, is tremendous. More so than most of us. So I guess I'm just curious, do you have any idea what some of those other communities do?
I do have an idea, but I don't wanna take additional compensation. Knowing I'm already named chair, I'm content with receiving the same rate that you as other board members receive.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean in the future you don't, as a board, look at that as an option, so. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed then to vote on setting the board compensation for attending board meetings for calendar year 2025 at $100 per board member per regular and special board meetings, and $100 for half-day, and $200 for full-day negotiation meetings, and $200 for all-day seminars. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Okay. Let's move on to item 4, and that would be to approve the 2025 standard IRS mileage rate of 70 cents per mile effective January 1st, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
Pepple.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Peppel to approve the 2025 standard IRS mileage rate of 70 cents per mile effective January 1st, 2025. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, will proceed to vote on approving the 2025 standard IRS mileage rate of 70 cents per mile effective January 1st, 2025. All members in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries, and the standard IRS mileage rate of 70 cents per mile effective January 1st, 2025 is approved. Okay, let's move on to item 5, and that would be to approve school board representatives and committees, and that's enclosure number 3. So we will first work on filling in who's going to be on the committees, and once we have that filled in, I'll read that off, and that'll be our motion to approve that, okay? So on facilities, last year we had members Sheehan, Benson, and Peppel on the committee.
I'm fine with that.
I would like to stay on the facilities
I'm
committee.
fine staying on.
I would be quite content on staying in that committee as well.
Okay, and we don't want more than 3 members, so, so I'll put member Sheehan, member Benson, and member Peppel in on the facilities. Then let's go to finance. So we had members Benson, Frank, and Aseth on finance committee last year. Brad, I know you mentioned that you wanted to stay on committees
I'll stay on
that
it.
you were assigned.
I'm fine with
Sandy,
that.
I assume you wanna stay on as treasurer, so Asif Benson, and I'm willing to stay on finance as well. Okay, anyone else willing, or everyone's kinda good with that? Okay. Meet and confer, so this would be with, meeting with the teacher rep, the Bold EA, to discuss issues of mutual concern, including wellness culture items, and there's like 1 to 2 meetings per year. Last year it was members Benson, Bowen, and Klaus. Brian's no longer on the board. He's served many years on the board, so,
I would like to stay on that committee.
okay.
Me too, I'm good.
I'd be open to joining that one as well. But I guess one question I do have is, meet and confer in negotiations does it make sense for that to be the same groups of people, those next 2 segments?
It doesn't have to be. They can,
Again, it doesn't matter.
I was just wondering, cause it seemed like it might make sense for it to be the same groups, but.
Honestly, it's probably a good thing if you're on both of them, cause then you get an
was
inside
just gonna say that.
information
That's what I
Yep.
mean.
from,
and feel,
yeah, a feel for what they're thinking, what they're feeling, you know, and it's, I enjoy it, I really enjoy listening to their thoughts and what they're thinking and what they are looking for or wanting different, cause they don't always come up to you and tell you those things.
Correct, and that's kinda why I was bringing up the question,
Yeah.
if it doesn't make sense for those groups.
they don't have to be exactly the same, but, yeah. So, okay, right now I have members Benson, Klaus, and Peppel down on meet and confer. Okay, so in negotiations with Bold EA. So I believe this next year, or 2025,
Yeah.
we'll be starting the negotiation process again.
I'm fine to stay on it again,
Okay,
I've done it for a few years now. And you really need somebody that's been through it. And if anybody's thinking about doing this, I think there is, if I remember right, looking through the conferencing, there is,
there was a workshop.
a workshop on negotiations. And that's very informative.
Todd, you were on it last year,
I'm willing to help out, stay on.
okay? And Brad, do you wanna stay on?
Yeah, I'll stay on.
Okay. Okay, so so right now I've slated in members Benson, Sheehan, and Asa, and these aren't final, so once we make the motion, we can have discussion and we can swap people in and out, you know, as well, so just trying to figure this out. So this next one would be, you're essentially on 3 negotiating committees with the paraprofessionals, food service, and admins. And in the past.
Actually 4.
4, well, there's a custodians is separate below.
Oh, they do have it separate. There you go. All right.
But just know that there's 3 organizations you'll be working to negotiate with here. And that's gonna be ongoing and contracts coming up for that, so. Sandy, you were on last year,
I'm fine to stay on it.
okay? Member Bowen was on previously, and he's not, and member Peppel was on previously,
And I'd be willing to stay on.
okay? Anyone else willing to serve on that?
You don't have to have 3.
No,
2 is fine too, so if we don't get anybody else that wants
Okay.
2 would be fine.
I'll do that one.
You can do it?
I'll do
Okay.
that one. I'll put my name in the hat for that. Okay. So then we have the next one would be negotiations with the custodians. And so last year we had members Benson, Bowen, and Peppel on that, so.
I'll stay on again.
Okay,
I'm open to staying on it as well.
okay,
We did try to schedule these, and this is where my thought process was before. We tried to schedule on the same night because it was the same people that were on both committees.
That works nice.
It is kind of nice to
Get it done.
get them done.
I can put my name in on that one as well then. Okay. The next one would be the Ag Advisory Committee, CTE. We're looking up to have a maximum number of 3 board members on. There's supposed to be 4 meetings per year max, and that helps advise and listen to the Ag Advisory and CTE. I've sat on that as a community member and as a school board member. I have enjoyed it. I'd be willing to step back and give someone else the opportunity to do that.
I will stay on.
Okay,
Yeah, and I'd be willing to stay on as well, unless somebody really has a passion for it. I'm certainly open to allowing somebody else in there as well, but
okay.
either way for me.
I'll not put my name in for this year since we got 2 that are interested.
I wonder if that'd be a conflict for me if I was not.
It would be
I think
since
so.
your spouse is,
That's what I figured.
yeah. Okay. So let's move on then to book review. Last year it was member Klaus and myself on that.
I would like to stay on that book review.
And that's not gonna typically meet unless there's something that happens with media or a book, you know, that, but it
Yeah.
designates up front.
What would happen is somebody would follow our process here for like, reviewing a book, and then if they weren't satisfied, then they would meet with board members and plead their case.
Yep, and we've got a policy on book review or media anyhow. in
procedures
place, a
anyway, yeah.
procedure on how that's all handled, so it's pretty straightforward. So Mary Ella's on that. Anyone else? Brad, do you wanna, it'd be not a lot of commitment typically.
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
I do that one. That's what I was thinking about doing now.
so we have members Rederath and Klaus on book review. Okay, so Community Ed Advisory Committee, last year it was member Oseth and myself on that committee. I know they met, but they didn't include the board members.
Really?
Yeah. Or maybe they thought there were other,
Yeah, they do meet quarterly, so,
Yes.
okay,
so,
I'll make note of that.
yeah, so maybe they didn't have the names. Brad, do you wanna serve again on
Sure.
that? Anyone else willing to serve on the community ed?
Are you stepping away from that, Todd?
Think I should, since I've got my name in on the negotiations.
I can step in.
Okay. So we have Oseth and Klaus on the Community Ed Advisory Committee. Okay, the next would be Family and Consumer Science Advisory Committee. Right now we have members Frank Peppel and Klaus
I would
from
like to
last
stay
year.
on.
So, okay. Greg, what are you thinking?
I'd be open to staying on.
Okay, and I'd be willing to step back from that. And anyone else wanna put their name in on that one? So that'd be meeting with Penny Christie and leads that group. And there's actually a meeting coming up on the 11th,
Next Tuesday.
next Tuesday. So we'll need to inform her of membership changes potentially from our side once this gets approved tonight. Anyone else besides members Klaus or Peppel? Okay, we'll leave it at 2. Then the next one would be our Minnesota State High School League Athletic/Activity Hearings Committee. Last year we had members Bowen and Sheehan on that.
I'm willing to stay there.
Okay. Anyone else? That's one I would recommend we have the maximum of 2 to be available.
Yeah, I can put my name in there.
Okay. So I've got members Oseth and Sheehan down on that one. Okay, then let's flip to the last page, MREA. That would potentially have a conference the second week of December, or representation on the district and report MREA platform. And last year, I and member Oseth served on that, although it was,
Did you go to the conference?
no, I don't even remember seeing an invite to it.
Yeah, I never received any information about it.
Yeah. So we may wanna check in on that,
Got it.
but, so you would stay on,
Sure.
anyone else?
It's a very good conference, and there's usually board members. There's sometimes teachers, administrators. So it's a strong group that represents outer Minnesota, and does it well. The farm to school credit was largely put through from their efforts. So
That's down at the convention center also.
no, I've only been to it once, and it was at Cragen's
In Brainerd.
in Brainerd. Yeah.
I
But it
guess-
might move around, but that's typically, they do something, they're a rural group, so they try to, I think, avoid metro conferences. Spread the wealth.
And I'd be willing to stay on that for this next year as well. Okay. Pairing and sharing, it's a meet as needed committee. Last year, member Benson and myself were on that committee.
If somebody wants it, you can have it. I think I got my name on quite a few already anyway, so I mean, I'll stay on if you need me to.
Yeah, what's the pairing and sharing for? What's that one?
It would be discussions around collaborations with neighboring districts, you know, whether, and it's in collaboration with administration on whether we wanna say, for example, we can't find a chemistry teacher. Can we do some sharing work with a neighboring district so that we can offer chemistry, for example, and they, whether there's busing involved to or from, or it's done via cameras, remote, anyhow, it's that, and it can go all the way to full-blown talks of, with other districts on entering into an official pairing agreement, you know, not a consolidation of school districts, but a pairing agreement, so it's the whole gamut.
Okay. Yeah, I can stand in for that one.
Okay. Anyone else?
You staying on it?
I can stay on that,
Doesn't matter. If you need me,
but if someone else is,
yeah, if somebody else wants to do it.
I'll do it.
okay, so we got members Rederath and Sheehan on the pairing and sharing for 2025. Okay, pool committee, so this is typically 2 individuals that were on the facilities committee, which would have been members Sheehan, Benson, and Pepple. So, and then we pick a substitute. So
I would sub on the committee.
you would sub on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put sub down as Klaus. And so I need 2 members off of the facilities, so between Todd, Sandy, and Greg, which 2 of you wanna serve on the pool?
I think I'm on enough. I think I'm gonna stop.
I can stay on it.
Okay, Greg, okay, so we'll put, Peppel and Sheehan then, with member Klaus as the substitute. Okay, and then the policy committee. And so last year we had 2 people, myself and member Bowen on that. I would very much like to stay on policy committee if I can.
That one has been a lot of work for you this last year.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the work you've done on that.
For sure.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
You put a lot of work into it.
I enjoy doing that. I'm probably a freak of nature, because I don't think a lot of people enjoy doing that stuff, but I do.
You're right. Nobody.
So.
No, you're good at it. I mean, and I appreciate all the work that you've done because you've done a lot of extra time and efforts on that stuff.
Yeah, I think
Trying to
we're
get 'em all
Getting
up to
caught up on the
date and everything.
policies.
I think we're way beyond what a lot of places are at. So
But I
It's a
would
lot of
very much
playing time.
welcome someone
I would
else.
help with that.
You would help with
Yeah.
that? Okay, any? All right.
Someone would want, I would take my name off the community ed advisory to open that up for someone. If I go on the policy committee.
Community, and they don't really meet once a quarter, you said, right?
Brad, would you wanna, Rederath, I should say, cause I'm trying to look across and divide about equally.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do that, and we'll take Klaus off and put you on?
Yeah. Education. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think we've got our draft copy ready to go. So I will accept a motion to appoint members Sheehan, Benson, and Peppel to facilities, Oseth, Benson, and Frank to finance committee, Benson, Klaus, and Peppel to meet and confer, Benson, Sheehan, and Oseth to the negotiations bold EA committee. Then members Benson, Frank, and Peppel would be on the negotiations committee for the paraprofessionals, the negotiations committee for food service, and the negotiations committee for the administrative assistants, bold AFSCME. Then also members Benson, Frank, and Peppel would be on the bold AFSCME custodians negotiation committee. The Ag Advisory Committee / CTE would consist of member Peppel and member Sheehan. The Book Review Committee is member Rederath and Klaus. The Community Education Advisory Committee is members Oseth and Rederath. The Family and Consumer Science Facts Advisory Committee would be members Klaus and Peppel. The Minnesota State High School League / Athletics / Activity Hearings Committee would be members Oseth and Sheehan. And the MREA Committee would consist of members Oseth and Frank. The Pairing and Sharing Committee would consist of members Rederath and Sheehan. The Pool Committee would consist of members Peppel and Sheehan with a substitute of member Klaus. And finally, the Policy Committee would consist of members Klaus and Frank. Is there someone who wants to make that motion? Okay, it's been moved by member Benson. Is there a second? It's been seconded by member Peppel for those appointments. Is everyone clear on who's on what committee? I don't want to repeat the whole thing and I think I read it slow enough with the motion. Okay, any discussion? Any discussion on committee assignments and delegates? And any discussion?
Who made the motion and?
So the motion was made by member Benson and seconded by member Peppel to approve.
Okay. Thank you.
Any discussion? Okay, we will proceed then to vote on approving the school board committees as I read in the initial motion. All members in favor of the committee assignments say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries and the committee appointments are set for 2025. Okay, that was in closure 3. All right, now we need to set our meal allowances reimbursement rates for 2025. So meals will be set at $60 per day. That's the meal allowance for a full day, reimbursable up to $60 maximum, and receipts are required for reimbursement. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by member Oseth and seconded by member Klaus to approve our meal allowance reimbursement rates at $60 per day for the full day, reimbursable up to $60, and receipts are required for the reimbursement. Any discussion?
I would add that the receipts do need to be an itemized receipt. They can't just be a credit card slip.
Itemized. So with itemized receipts. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on the $60 per day meal allowance for a full day, reimbursable up to $60. All members for 2025, all in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, we now need to approve our signatures for school checks, the authorization to pick up night depository money, access to safety deposit box, and authorization to make collateral adjustments for the period January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025 is listed below. And so the signatures would be our chairperson, treasurer, and clerk for the finance, payroll, checks, flex account, and activity account. For petty cash, it would be the superintendent, director of finance, which is Nicole. So
Fife.
everyone, Vice, so everyone's clear on that. And assistant business manager, who officially is
Amy Dale.
Okay. Trust accounts would be our superintendent, director of finance, and assistant business manager, so the same as the petty cash. The night depository will be our treasurer, superintendent, director of finance, assistant business manager, and activities director. Safety deposit box, that would be the chairperson, treasurer, superintendent, director of finance, and assistant business manager. And finally, the collateral adjustments would be the superintendent, the director of finance, and the assistant business manager. Is there a motion to have those signatures approved?
I will make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Oseth to approve the signatures as listed on the agenda in the board packet and online for the 6 different areas. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving those signatures as listed on the agenda in your packet and published online. All in favor of those signatures, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, we are now on to item 8, and that's to approve our designation of official school depository accounts for school finance at Hometown Bank of Olivia. Is there a motion for that?
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Oseth to approve the designation of official school depository accounts for school finance at Hometown Bank of Olivia. Is there any discussion?
I just have a quick question. How many years have we went with them? Have they been like that? I can't remember.
Gosh, I don't know, since I've been here.
It's been like forever. So then the F&M gets some of our other, what do we take the F&M so we can, what do they get out of?
Off the top of my head, there's a couple accounts there. I
Yeah,
don't know. I can find that for you.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure it's fair and we're kinda utilizing all of like, Bird Island and Lake Lillian, and it looks like we are, looks like on the list here we are.
Yeah, Lake Lillian, they got our, some of the business with the bonds, so,
And he's really good at that.
yeah.
He's very good at that. Okay, yep, that's it.
Okay, any other discussion on item 8 to approve our designation of official school depository accounts for school finances, Hometown Bank of Olivia? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Okay, we'll proceed to vote then on approving the school finance, Hometown Bank and of Olivia for our designation of official school depository accounts. All members in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries, and we've approved. Item 8. Okay, we are on to item 9 under new business, and that would be to designate the financial institutions for investment and purposes for the period January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. First would be Franzen Bank and Trust in Rhode Island. Second is FM Bank, Minnesota in Olivia. Third is Hometown Bank in Olivia. Fourth is Citizens Alliance Bank in Lake Lillian. The fifth is the MSDLAF Plus. And the sixth would be PMA. Is there a motion?
So moved, Bepple.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by Member Peppel and seconded by Member Benson to designate our financial institutions for investment purposes for the period January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. And the six are Franzen Bank and Trust in Rhode Island, FM Bank, Minnesota, Olivia, Hometown Bank, Olivia, Citizens Alliance Bank in Lake Lillian, MSDLAF Plus, and finally PMA. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All members in favor of designating the financial institutions under Part 9 of the new business as on the agenda in the packet and online say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, we are now on to 10, and that would be approve signatories and account access to Todd Frank, old school board chair. Our clerk was
Greg
Peppel. I gotta fill this in here quick. And treasurer is Sandy Benson. Okay, so item 10. Approve signatories and account access to Todd Frank, Bold School Board Chair, Greg Peppel, Bold School Board Clerk, Sandy Benson, Bold School Board Treasurer, and James Menton, Bold Superintendent, as signatories, and Nicole Veith, SWWC Business Services Specialist, as Transfer Wire Authority. Checks must contain 3 signatures. Is there a motion for that?
I so move.
Is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Oseth to approve the signatories and account access to Todd Frank, Bold School Board Chair, Greg Peppel, Bold School Board Clerk, Sandy Benson, Bold School Board Treasurer, and James Mentons, Bold Superintendent, as signatories, and Nicole Veith, SWWC Business Services Specialist, as Transfer Wire Authority, and checks must contain 3 signatures. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion?
Before you leave, I do need to get second and third signer information on here. So, yeah.
So just point out for the names listed here. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on item 10, and that would be to approve our signatories and account access to Todd Frank, Bold School Board Chair, Greg Peppel, Bold School Board Clerk, Sandy Benson, Bold School Board Treasurer, and James Menton, Bold Superintendent, as signatories, and Nicole Veith, SWWC Business Services Specialist, as Transfer Wire Authority, and checks must contain 3 signatures. All members in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. All right, we are now on to item 11. That's to approve our designation of official radio station for January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025 as KOLV 100.1 FM Big Country. Is there a motion?
So moved, Benson.
Second.
Second.
Moved by member Benson and seconded by member Oseth to approve our designation of official radio station from January 1st, 25 through December 31st of 2025 as KOLV 100.1 FM Big Country. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we're going to proceed to vote. All in favor of approving for calendar year 2025 KOLV 100.1 FM Big Country as the official radio station, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, with that, we are on to section 10. That's our upcoming dates. So first is the MSBA Leadership Conference, the 16th through 17th, 2025. And then if you recall at the December meeting, we agreed that we would do a 6:15 p.m. work session on the 27th of January to discuss 4-day school week. That was the purpose, of the only thing that'll go into the work session. And then at 7 o'clock here in the Media Center, we'll have our regular school board meeting with our normal set of business. So that's all I have for upcoming dates. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Klaus to adjourn. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to adjourn. Vote on adjourning. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries and we're adjourned at 8:01 p.m.